And we are back, Black and a Half, episode number 110.
110.
110. Here we are. Now we're getting serious. We're bringing it hard.
That's right.
And to make it more serious, we decided to bring on Black and a Half's first ever Emmy-winning guest. We can say the hilarious and multi-talented Dwayne Colbert is our guest today.
Yeah. You guys are in for a treat.
Samantha has the hookups. She knows everybody. She's been hiding from me. But Dwayne came on the show to talk about. He did the hot topics with us. We did we talk about the reopening the schools, how that's going to affect everybody in society. We talked about the Lady A versus Lady Antebellum controversy, and we talked about the first Black Batwoman coming to the CW. Social media post of the week, the streaming movie of the week. We talk about LoveBirds, and then we get into Dwayne's origin story, as we always do here, and of course he answers the 7 questions. And he was you were a funny guy. You were a funny guy. I really
that's sounds amazing coming from comedians. That means nothing. No, just kidding. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're like, you comedians have no souls. It means nothing.
So it was a great episode. Everyone's going to enjoy it, and of course, if you do, I think you will. Please go and give us a 5-star on iTunes if you have not. Leave us a great comment. Appreciate that. If you are a huge and share it.
Yeah,
right?
And if you have like a favorite line or quote from the episode, let us know. I always think those are fun too.
Tag us or tweet it at us. Twitter it at us.
That's
Insta us. Something.
No one does that.
Something like that. And then, of course, if you're a big fan of the show, you can support the show by going to patreon.com/black&a-half and become one of our patrons, like our founding members, Stefan Ward, and or a recent Patreon member, Tara Weidel. I got to meet her in person so I can actually know how to pronounce her name. Tara Widener. Be one of the patrons, and I can mispronounce your name. And of course, this show is always brought to you by the ways Samantha and I really make our money in our day jobs. Brought to you by Silas Gets Real, Silas Lindenstein, real estate, celebrity real estate agent with Skyline Properties. So if you're in the Seattle area looking to buy or sell a home, go ahead and email me at silas@blackandahhalf.com, and I'll hook you up. And or if you're buying a house anywhere in the nation, I can hook you up with one of my many real estate agents partners. And of course, if you need acting lessons, who are you going to go to?
Yeah, Beyond Technique Coaching. Work with voice, body, and mind to use performance techniques to help you have a better, fuller life, to bring more of yourself to your life work. Acting or non-acting, just can't we all use a little extra joy right now? Interview prep, whatever you need, there's a performance technique for it. So feel free to check that out and ask me questions.
What else are you going to do? Stream another show on Netflix? Come on. Better yourself. That's what you can do. But yeah, that's it. So follow our guest, follow Dwayne Colbert on his Instagram. We got it in the show at the end. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and that's it. And enjoy the show. Here we go. Episode Black and a Half, episode number 110. Dwayne Colbert.
Stand by to receive our transmission.
So,
stand by to receive our
do you guys find anything better than grilling?
Then what?
Is there anything better than grilling in the summer?
Maybe swimming. But I don't know. You can't get swimming is
before time.
Yeah.
The before times.
Right.
Can you swim? We can't swim now, right? Is that a thing?
So if we can't gather indoors.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you guys not have your own outdoor pools? What is going on?
Yeah, I didn't
I don't have a backyard, but I have my own private outdoor pool.
Do you have a pool? Do you have a pool in your
Yeah, we have a pool. Yeah,
is
we
it
have a
closed?
pool, but yeah, for sure, totally closed.
Okay, so it's closed. All right.
I didn't know if chlorine would kill it. I mean, I know bleach does, right?
Maybe the required amount of chlorine would be too much for people to swim in.
Yeah, and then when you come up for air, you'd be breathing in each other's faces, so there's always that. Your masks would get wet in the water, so.
And all the other that goes on, this is.
Anyway, I was asking because I have this addiction to grilling.
Addiction?
I do. Once it's summer, I don't want to cook anything else.
You're allowed to do that without stigmatizing it with the word addiction.
But I feel like I don't know as many things. I don't know how to grill as many different things as I do cook in the kitchen. So I kind of feel like, this is the season where all my food starts tasting the same.
Well, smoke is a good flavor.
Yeah, I think more than grilling, what I enjoy is eating the food from somebody else's barbecue.
That is
I don't actually know how to barbecue anything.
It's one of my favorite pastimes is eating cooked by other people.
Wait, where are you, Dwayne? Are you in LA?
I am in LA, not LA proper right now. I'm in Pasadena, right at the Pasadena-Altadena border, but I'm from LA.
Okay. It's you're from LA?
Born and raised. Okay. Well, yeah.
So I was just trying to think if there's no different barbecuing in LA, I think. There's no style.
I think a lot of it came from Southern style barbecue, but there's even different types of barbecue. You can't just call it all Southern either. It's Texas, because I've had different kinds. There's Woody's and or Phillips. I think they're related in some kind of these two guys, but they have a style of barbecue where the sauce is a little more ketchupy and kind of thick that way. They do a different kind of smoke than say a place like. It's in Pasadena, but it's a place called Bonnie B's where it's a true, you could tell they use a smoker, you don't even need any sauce on it, that kind of thing. So there's all kinds of different, LA is great, by having people who are brought what they love from the places that they were from here. And it feels just like they put an LA spin on it somehow. And it's just all great.
My favorite thing about eating foods that are from other places is somebody from that place will say, "Well, it's not real."
Exactly. Yeah, they all.
Real. It's not real pizza.
Without fail,
it's not real pizza.
It's an LA version, which is just, fine by me. Let it be an LA version. That's great. It could be its own thing. It doesn't have to be, authentic. I don't want to eat necessarily pizza from Sicily. Maybe I could just have pizza from Massa or something here. I don't know. What I mean? How authentic do we need to be?
I'm totally on board. I like American pizza. I do like it. But when I did go to Italy, and I remember we had these these Mormon I think they're from Salt Lake City, so I just assumed they're white and Mormon. I just assumed.
Safe assumption.
They were in our tour group, and they were like, "Oh, we had the we went and had the pizza yesterday. Everyone talks about Italian pizza, but it wasn't that good." And I was like, "You know what? We're in Italy. I think you have to."
Yeah, it's probably pretty fucking good.
Yeah, it's sorry, it wasn't Domino's for you.
I just like the variety of the what's been brought to pizza. I guess it's not I would enjoy, devour, and could eat every day pizza from Italy. Don't get me wrong there. I just mean I love what's been done to pizza.
Yeah. Oh, this blows my mind. I saw this on a documentary recently. When I think of foods from different countries, I tend to think that they were there for millennia, right? That's what they did. That's what they had. Do you know tomatoes have only been in Italy since the 1500s?
No way.
Yeah.
Before that,
where were they before that?
It's South America.
In Italy before that, because
that's what I want to know.
Tomatoes are in Italy now.
Tomatoes were discovered in South America and brought over.
Amazing.
By Spanish explorers and brought them, of course, to Italy. And then I was like, well, then how can they try to tell me what all these dishes have to be like? They got their noodles from Japan, right? They got the noodles from Japan.
They're just like LA.
That's right.
LA's the new Italy, so we get to change pieces how we want to because we're the new Italy. So
I do actually want to look it up and find out what the hell they were eating before.
Like what?
Yeah.
Did you say snakes?
Eggs.
Oh, eggs.
But snakes too, sure.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if anyone eats snakes.
But then I was reminded, like, the Spice Wars and everything, like those, like, all happened because nobody had good tasting food. It was
right.
White people didn't have good tasting food.
They're like, this is absolutely terrible. Yeah.
People destroy and colonize the entire world.
What about this twig? Yeah, this twig. It smells good. Maybe it'll.
A little chicory, a little bit for the barbecue there. Just throw it.
Yeah.
Okay. So as we get into hot topics here, it's hot. It's summer. It's summertime.
It's gonna be a hot one. You can pretty much say that any time, any summer.
Yeah.
It's a hot one. So we're already starting to talk about schools reopening because schools, even though they haven't been, school year just ended for a lot of people, even though it's weird because I'm like, my daughter's been in my house since March, so
that is
it doesn't feel like a school year. Right. But as we're talking about it, so last week they were reported in Arizona, 3 summer school teachers, which is already like they're in summer school already. They got sick from COVID. These teachers were all wearing masks, wearing gloves. They were sanitizing. They shared one classroom though, that I guess they each used. One of them ended up dying from it, and it's really, so as we're approaching this, we're not like literally talking about, not necessarily, we would lose some students for sure, like, but we're also going to kill the teachers. Like my stepmother's a teacher. I
saw like Betsy DeVos on Twitter the other day, and she was saying something about like she was giving some percentage, like conceding to some small percentage, right, that of students that might be affected. But when you get the actual numbers of that, it's like over like 14,000 kids. It's like, what? We're just gonna let these kids die? Are you insane?
And that is totally ignoring the staff. That's ignoring
the staff,
right,
and their families.
Yep.
Besides the spread of it, is it? I mean, I knew gun control wasn't going to happen after Sandy Hook, right?
Yeah.
Because
that was
once we made that decision or the government said no, not enough.
The dead kids. I mean, nothing's going to penetrate this thing. Yeah.
I mean, I'm wondering, does it go back to then? Are we just not willing as a society? Do you think overall? Like, I don't know if I'm in a bubble because
I don't know about as a society. I would say about as a society with the people controlling the levers of power. I don't know if that's necessarily representative of all the voices that really want the kind of change we're talking about, the kind of progressive environment or society where people want to go beyond, hate speech and all that we're talking about. I think the vast majority of people do want some sort of progress. So I don't know if we're regressing, but we are regressing. It feels like policy-wise, like as the state says, yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, Samantha, ever since I told you about this story, I think you're just baffled.
I am baffled. I feel like this is the part of the show that is this real life? That's is this real life? And I don't know. I was telling a friend the other day, I was just like, man, you elect the Joker to president and then get surprised when all of a sudden we turn into Gotham City. It's like,
that is a great nerd reference for someone who doesn't read comic books.
I
love that.
I've watched all of the Batmans.
Qualified.
Yeah, I did the triple hitter of like when the third one came out. I was at the movie theater the whole time.
That's awesome.
Well, if you're gonna see any Batman, those are the ones to see. So
right, qualified. Yeah.
But it's right. But it's so true what you're saying though. That it's just like it feels like we're like testing. Like, do we have to go through this to really never do it again? And it feels like what I mean, like a kid, like the mischievous kid holding his hand over fire or something. Like, oh yeah, I can feel the heat, but did it burn me? Like, yeah, it's gonna burn you.
Yeah. But is it a 3rd degree?
Right.
Or is a second for herd immunity to burns forever. No,
Like,
it's just it's that's the other part of it that's so, you're gonna laugh, cry, or scream like one of those things, right? At least that's how I feel. Or it's just like nothing. It's just like you feel nothing, you laugh, cry, scream, and every now and again maybe you feel content when you're eating the barbecue that Silas made or something.
The only thing.
But all of this feels so it could have been avoidable.
Yeah, that's the saddest part about it. The cavalier nature, the way people are looking at death, the fact that teachers have to be. It's almost like that whole thing about a kid's got to die before they build a crosswalk. Why? The ways to identify and ways are being identified, and yet we're still having this real discussion when it shouldn't even be a real discussion about putting more people in harm's way.
Yeah.
Part of my I've ongoing theory on why so many people are upset about everything that's being done is the disregard for life is finally starting to happen to white people.
Yeah.
I was like, they never really cared about inner city schools. But now it's like, wait, we're all gonna die? Like we all could die?
Like Nana and my grandbaby gonna die? And I was like, yeah, everyone can be affected by this.
Like,
I'm still cautiously hopeful that people will get through. Like I remember doing the Occupy movement. I was like, oh yeah, I'd love to see non-Black or non-people of color, like college student getting maced in the face. Not that I want them to get maced, but I was thinking people will pay attention to that. I know as terrible as that sounds, and it still didn't fucking stick. And I was like, damn it. So, like you said, it's like the Sandy Hook thing all over again. It's like, well, what does it take? Does it take more? I feel like what's different now is that we, coupled with this pandemic, coupled with the racial unrest, that we're finally bringing the conversation to the forefront. Seeing that many people saying, despite or maybe even because of being locked up of a pandemic, going out and protesting, gives me hope that things can definitely progress and change.
Yeah. That part keeps me from spiraling down the horrible tunnel of like nothing's changed and everyone still hates us. Like, I'm like, no, that's not true. A lot of the people empowered you, but there's a lot of numbers that are valuing our lives. So
yeah, I mean, when they were talking about the UN getting involved, I was like, oh man, we get an outside referee. Let's go.
All right. And I mean, it's weird. It is weird for me to think that in some ways this is the best it's ever been. Right. Like I just told my wife the other day, this is the best it's ever been for Black people. Like right now.
Like, yeah.
And people like, what? Wait, what?
Like besides Reconstruction and maybe, civil rights legislation and Thurgood, but like, yeah, this is one of those moments, like for reals.
And I don't know, like it feels like sometimes it's like these two steps forward and one back. And this feels like a minor thing, right? The next hot topic. But so people may be familiar with the country group, all our listeners, Lady Antebellum. If they weren't before, they probably are now. Lady Antebellum is this white country group that, just like the name Antebellum, I guess I've now learned that their origin is that their first album, they took a picture in front of that style of house. Now, first time I heard the name, I was like, oh, some racist group? Like, that's just all I thought. Because I'm like, who names their group Antebellum and it's not racist, right? But they are, with everything going on, realized they should change their name, probably. And so they want to use Lady A, which they copyrighted in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
However, there is a Black blues singer from Seattle who's been going by Lady A since early November or early 2000s, like 2004, but she never copyrighted it officially. So they thought they worked something out, and then apparently they said she wanted too much money. So now they're suing her to be able to use the name.
Ooh.
And
she's probably like, damn, I should have took it. I should.
Well, they didn't offer her enough. They said she wanted like.
I'm not saying she doesn't deserve it. I'm just like, I feel like it's probably going to go the way of the law, which is like you do have to protect like copyright stuff, being a creator, but at the same time, they wrong. They wrong. Yes,
and they gotta know. Like I not that I want to feel bad for them, but I'm sure when they copyrighted, they probably weren't aware of her or the singer. They probably just filed all these copyrights.
They were going to do it anyway, right?
There's like another Black and a Half podcast. It's like out of a trailer in like someplace in Southeast Tennessee.
See, things pop up.
I'm
making this up, Silas.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like I don't know.
An issue, actually. We did have an issue, and I had to get a copyright. But here's the thing. Like they do have to, literally, you lose your copyright if you don't sue. I got a cease and desist letter once because I was selling, I call them onesies online for a thing and I got a cease and desist letter from Gerber Products, Gerber Baby, saying that I can't use the name onesie.
Wow.
What?
It's called a baby bodysuit.
Baby bodysuit.
Everybody uses the term onesie now.
I know,
right? It's like
they have to go after. They have to cease and desist everybody who tries to use it to protect their that trademark.
Wow.
And I had a fit about it. And somebody was like, "Well, they kind of have to," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, fine." But in this case, like they're changing their name, and I just feel like y'all know you just need to let it go and maybe just get a different name.
This is not going to increase their fan base. I mean, like, I don't know what they're looking to do.
Yeah, I don't see the win, like what they have, how they're going to win on this, right? Plus, we all still know what the A stands for them.
Right? Yeah, that doesn't go away.
Talking about onesies.
No.
Man, these headphones are too low.
But like in a way, we were though.
Man, that's so funny. Yeah, that probably will not. I don't know. Maybe their fan base. How much of their fan base do you think is going to overlap?
It feels like you would have to have new fans for people not to know at this point, right? So
to know what it means. Yeah. I'm curious how much more listens they're getting for this. Like if they're getting people listening to them, because I know I've been playing Lady A in my house on Spotify. So, and I hear everyone talking about it. So she's getting a lot of traction.
She probably got a little bump. But
But I don't see how they can get her to change her name. That's just
wrong. It just feels wrong. They probably should have just kept to it and worked it out. And to have all the the press behind the fact that they're suing her too. I don't know what her legal situation is or whatever, but it just feels like somebody beating up on a person who's legitimately trying to just do her own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, this has reminded me early on. I was in my career. I've thought about this, like how, particularly artists of color, just not knowing copyright laws or laws in general, how to protect themselves, both, and I feel like it comes down to that nobody, like that basic thing that nobody mentioned to her.
You don't know what you don't know sometimes. And if you don't have a lot of resources, maybe, I don't know what kind of resources she has, I shouldn't assume. But sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And we aren't expected to be walking, talking lawyers, especially if you're not put on in a way where you can just have lawyers at the ready to send out cease and desist letters,
I've always thought that might be one of the bad things about me as a comedian, like why I have this threshold, is I know too much about laws and stuff like that. Oh, obviously I'm not a good creative because I have too much of the business side in my head. So
I don't know, man. I feel like knowledge is power, whatever kind of knowledge. Like, I love the fact that you know more about the law maybe than the average comedian. That's awesome.
I do too, because then I know who to ask my questions to.
Well, like I'm going nuts right now with the COVID.
Can I go on stage in an adult onesie with the big letter A?
Okay.
I think that the answer is always yes to that. So
with COVID going on, I have all these people that I realized weren't filing for money that they could get because they just didn't realize that they're a business. Like, even I assumed all the full-time comedians were grabbing all this money because they know. And it was like a week ago I realized they didn't. So I've been posting and messaging to the ones I could think of that, have you gotten your money for this? And then telling them how to do it. And they just didn't know. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're just sitting there not making money? Like, come on, you gotta do this. And
it's like your duty. Like you have to.
and so I felt like I should tell people, like, look, I'm not as good as a comedian then, but I can get them their $1,000.
Yeah, that's useful and helpful and awesome.
That's like a standing ovation set right there. If you just went on stage and you were like, hey, I've got 5 minutes, but I'm going to crush this thing in just 30 seconds. Who wants $1,000?
What's $1,000? I got all the comedians laughing. And also then on the flip side, I'm in a real estate group because that's my day job, and someone was doing a video for, like, they like to do videos to show homes, like they're kind of funny, and sometimes they did a music video and they're just using like they're just using some song by, I forget, it was like Beyonce or Taylor Swift,
like
or somebody
real
big, and I was
like song,
and somebody asked them, oh, how did you get to use that? And they're like, oh, well, because it was kind of like funny. And I'm like, well,
fair use, but you only get like short, and it's very, fair use is not as liberal as people have been using it.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, you kind of actually need permission. And she's like, well, it's just so confusing with all the different rules. I just didn't know. I was like, well, it's not that confusing. It's just like, if you didn't make it, it's probably, you can't use it.
Not yours. But the whole thing with like memes, that's coming into question too, with, different.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's, again, considered fair use. Were you using it for comedic purposes or satire, that kind of thing? I am allowed to mock you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, because I have like this promotion going on where I'm doing like a real estate thing where it's all like, I'm putting myself into these nerdy, like Star Trek, and I have this postcard with it. And I was like, oh, I'm really skating the line here, because as a comedian, I'm good. I'm fine with. But it's the real estate part that I'm going to make money doing. And I'm like, oh, I don't know where, because I'm going to cry. If someone writes me a letter, I'm going to cry comedian and go satire, parody. And then they're going to go.
We got to use what we got. You know what I mean? Like, these times are tough, bro. You're a comedian. Like, I'll throw up the comedian shield anytime it's applicable. What are you talking about?
Like, no. I'm a comedian agent.
Yeah.
Look at my sales record. Obviously, I'm more of a comedian. Come on. Okay, so as Lady A is getting fought, our third last hot topic is kind of a good news for the nerd community. As many people know, the horrible show, let's be honest, CW's Batwoman.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Oh,
I can't confess to have seen it either. I have not seen it. I've seen other CW shows.
Yeah,
same. I've seen others.
It's been a rough one. It was a rough one.
Okay.
And the lead actress, she's left the show, but they are replacing her.
And they don't say why. Nobody knows why she left, right?
We kind of said they just felt like it was time to a different direction and moved on.
Yeah, I think I read that she said that she felt maybe she wasn't a good fit, but like she. Yeah.
Good for her.
Like respect and love to everybody or something like that. But
we could all be so lucky.
And so they cast the first female black woman, Batwoman.
Yeah,
black woman. I guess
first black Batwoman.
First female or first black Batwoman for the screen. For the screen.
I believe she's queer as well.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. As was the first Batwoman in this series. She was also.
Nice.
Now. Okay, so here's the interesting thing about it. It's celebratory, right? Okay, got a lead black woman in this nerd TV show. It'll probably be better. So here's the interesting thing about it. The first black Batwoman, she was also her girlfriend was black in the show. Mm-hmm. She's like a police officer.
Yeah,
they're in a relationship, and she was hiding who she was. Blah blah blah. Instead of just figuring out how to make her Batwoman, it seemed that would have been easy transfer.
Right? They made it
just make the black woman there. Oh, she's already on the show. They have this new character who's never been in anything. Like there's no backstory about her, like from comic books or anything. Mm-hmm. But what they've said about her is, she's a redeemed ex-drug dealer who's now trying to clean up her streets and going after some of the people that she was sort of competing with in drug sales. And I was a little like, I was like, well, why does she have to have that backstory though?
Because
like,
if she locks him up, then she gets the monopoly on the drugs and she gets all the money.
I mean,
yeah, that's.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like, why?
Why not be the cop? Why not just be the clean cop? Like, is it because are we so anti-cop now that we can't even?
No, because that cop character, right? That cop character is probably still going to be there, or some other
like, what kind of drugs? What kind of drugs are we talking? Like pharmaceutical?
Like meth.
Herbalist?
No, she wasn't.
Oh man,
wasn't selling lactate.
The big time black meth dealer out there. Got it. Yeah. No, I'm of two minds about it because I'm like, I have met Javicia before, who got the role. So I want yay for her. But at the same time, I hear what you're saying about like how they're necessitating bringing in that character. It's like, well, was it necessary to do it that way? And to give her that backstory seems like.
Why do we always have to have this backstory? That's like.
Yeah.
Like, why can't you just do it right? Come on. We all didn't just have some. Why couldn't she have been like a former improv artist and now is like.
Because then Batman would be like taking out all his gadgets and he'd be like.
Sound effects.
It's not a throwing star. It's a. I don't know. You know what I'm saying. I
do. That he would be ridiculous is what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, he'd be like making all of these different, or she'd be making all of these. It's not the Batmobile. It's the
Schmatmobile.
Yeah, I'm out of practice, right? Yeah, but I was telling Silas that too, because when he sent, this Hot Topics and whatnot, and I saw her picture, I was like, oh my God, I know her. Yeah. Like, I don't know Javicia super well, but we did work on a project together years ago, and it was just like.
You all weren't in the same thing, were you? Is that how you know?
Maybe, I don't know, it was a Google commercial we did for Black.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was a different thing that I had done with her. So it was just like, whoa. Yeah, so that's awesome for her.
Yeah, I was really excited.
It's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy. It's like, it's awesome to see people that I know who are getting things.
Yeah, that's always great. I mean, I remember when I first started acting, or I wouldn't even call myself an actor. I used to say I'm an improviser, kind of thing, whatever. Then I saw like a lot of my instructors from improv on television doing like commercials and shit. I was like, well, maybe I could do commercials. I don't know if improv is a skill they need. So then cut to like, this many years later, and now I can't turn on the television without seeing everyone I know on television.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's a trip. Sometimes I'll see people and be like, oh, and then have to mess. So yeah, some of my old teachers too. And I know you have some big news. Well, I was excited about it. I don't know if we could save that for later.
Okay. Oh, was that for me? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this camera is like not directly at you. So sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dwayne, that's for you. I'm excited.
I'm like, I don't know big news.
Sure you do. It's not the same big news though.
Yeah, different scales. Yeah, I got a cherry tomato coming in. I guess that is probably close to the same.
Sounds
news. To me.
A funny story about something people don't know is that it actually didn't originate in Italy. So it had a long journey to get to you.
Samantha with the callbacks, I tell you.
That keeps it. That is a comedy gold when you can. Something that worked the first time too and make it work again is beautiful.
Okay. I have this I'd like to do the social media post of the week. One of my favorite things that I've seen. I know, Dwayne, you've left Facebook, right?
I have recently left Facebook, yes. RIP.
Broken up. So are you just on Instagram now?
Enough. Yeah, just Instagram and Twitter.
Because there's no Twitter. Okay, you can fight on Twitter. You can't really fight on Instagram, can you?
I don't know. They probably police that too. Who knows? I don't know what.
Is it because of? Or you can say you don't want to tell me, but is it because of the people acting crazy on Facebook, or like the security stuff, or just cleansing the mind, kind of
the politics of it all? The fact that they wouldn't, police what they put up and the propaganda. All it was just like, no, thank you, no, thank you. Yeah, I'd rather look at people's pictures.
I like that too. I do feel a little like like jealous isn't the right word and awe isn't quite right, but somewhere in the middle of that, whenever I feel somebody's quit Facebook, I'm like, oh, you can do that? I tried, but I can't. How will I get a hold of people? Like, how will I,
seriously, there are people on there who I had only had connections there, but I was like, well, then are we friends? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. And there were certain pictures. Like, we spent a lot of like time on this. I was like, oh man, there were pictures that only exist on Facebook. So you could like download your pictures, whatever. But I was like, no. I literally, Sam, I stared at that delete function, whatever, for like 10 full minutes. It felt like an hour, but it was probably like 10 full minutes before, and just went over everything. Like, should I, how should I, whatever. And before I just pulled the plug, and I was like, done. And it is so freeing.
How long ago was it?
Not very long ago, maybe a month or so.
Oh man, I could feel how relaxed you are.
This is a crazy time to do that. I mean, admire it. It's like I am so lonely at times right now that I'm like, Facebook's the only, because I have to be extra. My wife works at a hospital, so I really shouldn't be around people just because I feel like I have a better chance of being an early catcher, even though she hasn't. It doesn't work directly, but they've had some.
You're doing your part to help.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm just like, no, not gonna go. Like, we have this local comedy club, Laughs, that started to do not open mic, but they wanted to do a couple outdoor things.
I don't think.
And at first I was
right now, right?
Well, no,
not anymore.
But I was gonna go down, and I was like, no, I can't, because the owner is vulnerable, and I could kill him. If I kill him.
Yeah, that would be terrible. He would feel awful.
Yeah,
his family would feel awful. He would be dead. That would be terrible.
And then I'd have no one would book me, right? I remember Silas killed the owner of the other phone.
Oh man!
I love
no, they just book you at like rival places.
yeah, exactly. Places they want to tank, close the doors on these places.
So Facebook's only like my lifeline to talking to people. I'm just like, I don't know.
It was a rough one. Especially family members, you have like a little family group too. That was tough leaving that, but I still have phone numbers. And
yeah, no,
that's fine.
It might actually. I have thought, like, I wonder if it would make me actually message people, like and actually communicate or have a phone call.
It was really sweet for people who contacted me for my recent good news. When knowing that I was on Facebook, they still found ways to get to me, and that was really great. So it was exciting to see how Facebook isn't the only lifeline we have.
For sure. I feel like I have to have it for business stuff at this point of where I'm at, but for the other stuff, I think I could go without it. Although like one of my best friends, she did, like, her daughter just had her 5th birthday, and they're all the way over on the East Coast, and she put all sorts of videos up. So
that's a great way to connect.
That was really, really fun. And as much as I was enjoying it, another part of me was like, are there security threats for her? Their video of her child on here? But then I'm like, show me more. Oh, she's so cute. Look at those cakes. She's like the most amazing birthday cakes.
It's bittersweet, I got to say, because, I do miss the connectivity. It was probably, the one platform where I had the most connections. But I found myself, when I looked through my feed, it was a lot of show promotion, a lot of me. I guess they're all that way. But I was like, if all I'm doing on this thing is just like to reach a bunch of people to come to a fucking show, I don't need it for that. It's fine.
Tell them.
Yeah.
My point. No, I'm serious. And I noticed that more when I was in LA than when I'm up here. But mostly what I see are political posts. So I have a bad habit of rolling over and picking up my phone first thing in the morning. And I know it's a bad habit. And I'll wake up in a good mood and scroll and see yet another person dead, or yet another person not wearing a mask, or yet another orange president saying something. Nothing against orange people. But, just like instantly just starts the day off wrong. And I'm like, you have to stop this.
Well, Twitter has that same effect on me. So it's just like quitting one platform, but it's not like I have some overriding philosophy of quitting them all. And I want to, and I feel like God, I do need to know what's going on in a way that the convenience of rolling over and picking up your phone provides, and that's what I hate about it and love about it. It's just like, how do we get out of this? How do we make this better? Competition, I think, more of it, but then it's like people are so lazy. Now it's like, no, this one's cool. I'll just stick with this one. Whatever it is, we don't care how terrible it is. It's just like, I don't know. I have no solutions.
Well, so I did want to this week. I did want to pick something a little more positive, something I liked, and it was a little pick me up. But I like it less than when I picked it. But like maybe I'm jaded now, so I don't know.
We're allowed to be jaded during a pandemic. So
I mean, if we're not, what the hell is wrong with us?
Come on,
I'm sorry for dropping the Ellie double hockey sticks on this.
I don't have a author for this. It was a meme with a picture, but okay. Picture of a room full of balloons. Mm-hmm. Says, once a group of 50 people was attending a seminar. Suddenly the speaker stopped and decided to do a group activity. He started giving each one balloon. Each one was asked to write her name on it using a marker pen. Then all the balloons were collected and put in another room. Now these delegates were let in that room and asked to find a balloon which had their name written within 5 minutes. Everyone was frantically searching for their name, colliding with each other, pushing around others. There was utter chaos. At the end of the 5 minutes, no one could find their own balloon. Now each one was asked to randomly collect a balloon and give it to the person whose name was written on it. Within minutes, everyone had their own balloon. The speaker began. Exactly this is happening in our lives. Everyone is frantically looking for happiness all around, not knowing where it is. Our happiness lies in the happiness of other people. Give them their happiness. You will get your own happiness. And this is the purpose of human life.
Oh, man. Yeah, it is.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Is that on your Facebook right now?
No, I think I pulled it off of something.
I need to share
I can't go off brand and be positive.
Have your wife post it. I'll share it.
Well, then I was like, really, 5 minutes and you couldn't find your balloon? I think I could find mine in 5.
It's probably just like not an actual event that happened.
Yeah, I know. But I started thinking about that. Was this true?
Because I did jump on that in my mind too. So I was like, 5
minutes.
I find mine. I know my signature. I'm just kidding.
Well, did it say how old the people were? It could be a bunch of toddlers.
Yeah, it could be, right? Or senior citizens.
I didn't have my progressive lenses on, so I couldn't really read. Well,
yeah.
But I do believe in that. I do believe in the ultimate ending of it, though, that our happiness is in finding ways to make other people happy.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
I love that. I like what people say a lot on their deathbeds about, it's about your relationships that matter the most in the end,
Yeah.
And not your entanglements. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. I couldn't help myself.
It's about the
entanglements. I had to look it up because that was trending everywhere, and I'm like, "What the hell's an I'm sorry, what is an entanglement?"
Gosh, right.
For those of you that don't know,
now,
Google entanglement and Jada.
Red table talk. Yeah.
Okay. Now the streaming suggestion of the week, something we're trying to get through COVID together, and can't do movie reviews because there's no movies coming out. Mostly. But we can give you some little feedback on some things streaming on Netflix. And this week, I wanted to suggest the movie LoveBirds on Netflix. Have either of you seen this movie?
It's on my ad list.
Yes, but you are the second person to say you got to see that. Yes, so I will watch LoveBirds.
It's now I'm blanking on their names because I didn't have it in front of me.
Oh, it's Issa Rae, right? And Patel. No, not Patel. No, I sound so racist. What's his name? I love him.
I know.
What's his name? He's fucking awesome from Silicon
I know he is. He's so good.
And he used to be on the Nerd Melt show, and he's fucking.
But
wasn't he in The Big Sick? Didn't he write that or no?
Yeah, Big Sick.
Co-wrote it with his wife, and
which is also great if you guys haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I think. Oh, I didn't recommend that one already. I guess that was a while ago. I did that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up.
Nope,
okay, Issa. I always forget Issa's last name. Like I don't know why. But I'm a huge fan of Insecure, and that was a reason.
Yeah, it's Kamal.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kumail Nanjiani. Yeah.
Oh,
Do you ever worry that sometimes I worry I'm going to say it's going to seem racist if I guess this person's name, which is an ethnic name, and I'm wrong? I'm like, nah,
I'd rather say
I forgot than bother. Come on, yeah. I really like the film. Like, I can't tell you that this is a super original film, but I will say it's a super original relationship because we don't see a lot of black and Indian relationships, right?
Yeah.
Or in fact, I'm not sure.
I heard like online,
I'm not sure where he's
in
from.
online dating sites that black women and Asian men, and he's a South Asian man, or of origin. I don't know if he's probably from LA or some shit, but you know what I mean? It's probably third generation or something. That they're the least viewed profiles on online dating apps. Yeah.
I have my own theories about this, but yeah, I have definitely heard.
Wait, that Southeast Asian men are the least?
That Asian men. I was pointing out that South Asian men and black women are the least viewed.
Really?
Oh yeah, we're supposed to be seen as undesirables.
Ridiculous.
What?
I can see the socialization behind why that's the case. You know, obviously I disagree. Yeah. On multiple levels, but yeah, no, that's a thing out there for sure.
Ridiculous. Well, see, so I love the coupling. Just to say, fuck you guys. You know, why haven't we thought of this before? This is what I love about it. You know, but go ahead. What are you gonna say?
But I was gonna say it is a very fun film. The humor on it, I literally did laugh out loud a lot during these, and it's stupid joke. Sometimes they're really like, that is such a stupid joke, but that is so funny.
I gotta say, that's what I love about Issa Rae the most is that how ridiculous she allows her characters to be. You know, she's silly, and I like that.
I describe her as fearless, like in everything that she does.
That is a fearlessness, yes.
And there's a couple moments, even though it's a comedy, and they always got to get these deep moments, I guess. But there are some really. Each of them have a couple really vulnerable moments in it that allow to show that you're like, oh, they're a good actor.
Okay.
They're a good actor. Like, oh, my God, but it's overall, it's funny.
And that leads some more opportunities then because, yeah.
So I highly recommend this one. I don't have a series for the week. I'm in the middle of one, and I don't want to say it until it's done, so I can scream about it or not. But yeah, and and that brings us to our guest for today.
Yay!
Dwayne Colbert. No relation, right?
No relation to Stephen Colbert. Is that what you're asking? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I didn't know.
I get that all the time. No, not that I know of. He's Second City. That's the only connection I would think of is that. Yeah, he's a Second City guy. I'm a Second City guy, but that's about it. I'm
so excited for this episode because Samantha booked you. And so this is like, well, if you I'm like, oh, someone I didn't know that I can just like find everything out, like your past and what happened. Like you have, I guess, so you have some new, are you allowed to say it?
Yeah. Okay. Won a daytime Emmy for outstanding original song for the song "The Bad Guys" from the show "Brainwashed by Tunes." That was produced by Funny or Die and my buddy Neil Gargiulo's company, Raphael Productions. Awesome.
So the Emmy was it? So that's just announced.
Yeah, they just did parts of the daytime Emmys. We're also up for the show is also up for outstanding writing for a special class series, and that'll be announced like in end of July. I think after they do the primetime Emmys or something like that. It'll still be only announced online, I believe, but still, yeah.
Okay,
we get fingers crossed for that. Yeah. That was the tougher one.
Was the award for the writing of it, the song?
It was for the original song. So yeah, the people who were either performers and or writers or producers of the song will receive the award.
But you're not like, you're not just a musician, right? I saw you have a lot of acting credits.
I never written a lyric in my life before Second City, so it was for writing. I I was like head writer on that thing and produced it. All 3 episodes of that series. We had Wayne Brady, Leah Thompson, and Jason Alexander was the person who got the Emmy for the original song for this most recent one. What's great is that he sent a letter to my buddy Neil, who produced it, saying something. I'm paraphrasing here, but basically, Jason Alexander had gotten nominated for and primetime Emmy 8 times on Seinfeld and never won, and we got him an Emmy for this.
Wow, that's so amazing.
Yeah, so
that's
really
awesome. I've met Jason Alexander once. I was one of the people in the audience with a small group of like 40 people, but so he would never know me. But I never heard of this was pre-internet, so you got to like listen to you didn't know how people got their start unless you somehow
unless you packed the room somewhere.
Yeah,
that's great.
That was great. So you're an actor, but
I'm an actor, writer. I was a writer before I was an actor.
Were you stand up?
No, I used to write in animation. I used to write for Nickelodeon and did some storyboarding a little bit and stuff like that. And then the work was drying up. I wasn't getting a lot of work. My buddy was like, "Oh, take an improv class." So I took an improv class and just been an actor ever since. And then I got back to writing after I had gone through and worked for Second City and toured and all that. And then just got into doing more writing after that. So then I started writing musical comedies that Second City produced, and they caught fire. And just kept the writing going.
So your passion is in the writing, though? Was that
for sure? Yeah, writing, it's difficult, man. I mean, it's hard, but I love it. It feels like that's when I'm whole. It's like you got to write all the time. It was just so frustrating. It's when you're kind of working it out where you're, the things you like are better than what you can produce. It's tough. So
yeah.
But if you can stick it out, you look up one day, you'd be like, wait a minute. The big example for me is I did the Nickelodeon writing program years ago, and then now today, the last 3 years or so, for the Nickelodeon writing program, a week and a half during their programs, I teach them sketch comedy now through the Second City. So that's great, to be able to look up one day and you're like, oh, I guess I am right. I don't know, I guess I do know what I'm doing. Yeah.
That's so cool.
So yeah.
What was the first thing you ever wrote? Was it when you were a kid?
Wow. Yeah, I think my mom showed me something a few years ago of this, I think it was an assignment, but it was an art assignment or something. Maybe it wasn't, but it was you had to present a futuristic product. So I had drawn and written out little almost I guess it would be like a newsletter, but it felt like an infomercial, but on paper of this puff of clothes where you can just throw this dust on and suddenly you'd be dressed or something like that. I must have hated getting dressed or something at the time. I don't know. But I think I was really young when I did that. Maybe I don't know, 8 or something like that. Yeah. Okay. So that's the first writing I can actually remember is that. Yeah.
Was mom always encouraging?
Yeah, mom's always been great. I mean, are you kidding me? Yeah. My mom is stereotypical supportive mom. She's just anything I do, she's all over that. I knew you could, very encouraging. Yeah, she's always been. Yeah.
So, first thing at 8, what was did you go study writing right away or in high school or what was it?
I was trying to be an artist most of my life, a visual artist. I love to draw. Yeah, I just love to draw. And I saw The Lion King one day and I was like, I want to do that. So then, I Googled all the animation studios and they all happen to be here locally, most of them in Burbank. So I kind of hit them up, was like, how do I do what you do? So some would send packages or they would just tell you over the phone, take these classes, enroll in these schools, talk to these studios, that kind of thing, hit up some studios, whatever. Ended up being a intern at a small animation studio in Glendale called Hyperion Studio that's no longer in existence, but they were really awesome to me. And they produced.
What age was this?
Age is just a number. It's just like a construct.
But what was it like?
That's right. Free your mind.
Are we talking teenagers or are we talking after?
No. This is like a grown adult.
Okay.
Yeah. This is like me wanting to draw all my life, and then as an adult, never really pursuing it as a career. I was like a math major in college, but then one day just looked up and saw the line, after saying, you know what, I've always wanted to do this. Let me pursue this.
Hold on. Okay, I want to go back to that math. Sure. So you go to college. What made you choose what you wanted to do? If you knew you wanted to do that, what made you go toward the math?
I just didn't know any artists. I didn't know that was a career. I didn't know that was something you could pursue that way. I don't know. I just never looked at it as something that people around me or that I knew was a thing. My parents just you you're smart. Keep those smarts going, and you'll get a job as like an actuary or a professor or something. You know, I don't know what you do with a math degree. I was just trying to get into college, really. So I knew that I had a lot of math behind me. So I was like, well, this is strong. Maybe I'll get in on that. And I was like, fuck, I got in on that. So I only applied to 2 colleges, UCLA and UC Davis. So I was like, either I'm going to stay in LA or get out of LA. So I went to UC Davis to get out of LA.
UC Davis. Oh, I went to college in Chico.
Oh yeah,
north of there. So
party in Chico. Oh
my gosh. I almost went to. I almost applied to UC Davis for a theater master's program, but I wanted to
take one acting class there. It was just like on a whim with my buddy to kind of like fill up my fucking a class semester that semester. I don't know what I was taking it for, but I don't remember like thinking walking away going, yeah, I'm going to be an actor. It was just like, oh, this is fun. This is silly,
Okay. And so you got older. You got a degree in math, and then there was no job, right? I didn't get a degree. I left before the degree. I was just kind of. I had some tragedy in my life. My best friend, I got killed in a car accident my freshman year, so I just never really kind of recovered from that. I think I went as far as like junior, and I just like petered out. Ended up going back to school and still don't have a degree. I mean, I have like certificates. I've even done like some Microsoft certificates for like SQL Server for this job I used to have, stuff like that. So it's not like I'm an idiot. I just like didn't have the full. Well, yeah. I mean, if you got a math
you're obviously
degree,
not an idiot.
Yeah, if you're going for that, you're
you guys should talk to my dad. Anyway, he's still waiting on that. I'm like, bro, leave me alone. But yeah, it was just like, after college, just like bouncing around different jobs that didn't satisfy, that weren't fulfilling in any way, just to try to like, make ends meet kind of thing, pay back student loan kind of thing. And then you look up, like I said, one day and just saw something that blew me away and wanted to be a part of it.
Now, had you been writing or like, had you been drawing or anything on the side, like as a...
It's just one of those things where like I knew I could draw, you know what I mean? Like people would ask me to draw things, or I do portraits for family members or that kind of thing. So I knew I could draw, but I hadn't really studied art. One of those self-taught people who think they can draw kind of really well, because I really don't feel like I knew to draw, looking back on it, like the way I know how to draw now. So I just, after getting all those information from those different animation studios, just started taking classes at the Animation Guild used to offer. I don't know if they still do offer animation classes on all different aspects of the art form, not just the art aspects, but I took anything they offered. I was just going at it hard and getting different like internships, and then actually getting hired on in PA positions or coordinator positions at different animation studios, where they also offered free drawing classes to employees. So when I was at Disney, I would just take classes, and I was working in the story department with the storyboard artists. So they would oftentimes, be there as well, and they would critique my drawings and help me along and tell me what books to read and what movies to watch. And we talk about the story all the time. And it was better than film school, just working, at these different animation studios. I had no aspirations to Hollywood beyond animation world. I worked in television and film. And I just thought that we were like the stepchild of Hollywood. This is before like the huge, big Pixar movies. It was like maybe around the time of Toy Story 2 was the biggest movie. So animation was big, but it was still like its own thing. Now it's just wholeheartedly part of the mainstream media, more so than it was then. It can still stand to be more so now. But it was like a real heyday in animations before Disney, bought Pixar. Right before that is when I was there. And man, I learned so much. I just learned, got to the point where the guys, the storyboard guys were like, look at my drawings and look at my animation test. They were like, yeah, you need to get out there and quit this job because you're on the path to be a producer here. On that, production side, you're not on the artist side. They won't look at you seriously until you, apply to these places that way. So I had to do that to kind of earn your stripes. And it went well for like a short period of time, and then not so well because it was like a dip in animation. So like, I wanted to do it. So like a lot of people who were like story timers or storyboard artists or directors were, had these amazing skills, were having to do some of the work I was trying to get my foot in the door with. So I got some freelance work here and there, but it was like not really lucrative. So I found myself just wanting to still be around animation. So I took a job as a PA again on a production at Nickelodeon through Federator. Federator had a deal with Nickelodeon at the time where he had his own little studio within a studio. So I was doing the work of like 2 different PAs, but I knew the production side so well that it was like seamless to me. And I remember walking into the writer's office on that show and was going, "Hey man, how do I do what you do?" I don't know why, but I just wanted to do something more, but I knew I couldn't hack it anymore as an artist. And that was like, kind of existential when you always looked at yourself as a visual artist. So he was like, gave me some pointers here and there or whatever. And then one of my friends who was a sport artist, he saw me working as a PA and was like, "What the hell are you doing here, man? You had all these skills. Like a storyboard artist is like an actor with a pencil, or they don't use pencils anymore. It's all on the Cintiq, but it's all on a pad. But you use your drawing skills. They can be applied as an actor. You're a cinematographer. You're a director. You're a writer. Why are you wasting your skills just here pushing paper and making copies?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just love animation. I'd like to be around it." And that was the truth. I just wanted to be around it. So he said, "Well, there's a writing fellowship thing. That was just called the writing program. He said there's a writing program they have that you should apply for that at least. You know how to write." And I was like, "Sure, I know how to write. I'll do that." I had never written a script or anything. But my time at Disney before that, though, I used to do when they used to pitch their storyboard artists used to pitch their literal boards that were pinned up paper, and now it's all electronic. But they had the dialogue underneath that. They would pitch that their little sequences, and then when those got approved, I would transcribe that into script format and then show it to the storyboard artist who created that sequence to make sure that I captured what they said. So that's script writing, in a way. Yeah. Because they would comment on the adjectives or word choices or the way I would, but I had to rely on all the skills I had gathered along the way to say, yeah, I can do this. So I was like watching reruns of sitcoms and then started taking notes. I don't know what the notes were, and then wrote a spec script and got into the Nickelodeon writing program with this first script I wrote. So that was pretty great. And, start writing.
And then from there it was
great. It was like great. I finished the fellowship, did a lot of writing there during the fellowship. They try to staff you. At the time, it was they try to staff you now. At the time, they didn't. It wasn't guaranteed. It was still not guaranteed, but It was a lot harder to staff someone through the program then. But I managed to get some work on that show that I used to be a PA on. I was writing for that show. So I got some freelance work even after the program on another show there called The X's. And then the work kind of dried up, and my buddy was like, "Take an improv class." So that's when I started acting. I just got there, and I just really loved it. When I took my improv, I was like, "Oh, now I found my nerd. This is what I was always supposed to be doing. I didn't know this was available to me. I never acted. I wasn't in a school plays or anything like that. No musical theater, no dramatic, training, or even though that, comedy theater is like barely theater, but but there's some theatricality to it. But this was amazing to me. I was like, "Oh my God, wait, what? This thing?" So I just poured everything. I was like Mr. freaking improv, anything I could find online with like books or interviews. And it's before improv was even big. I feel like this was 10 years ago. I took my first class January 2007, so this, part of making up the LA improv scene was part of what we're doing, these little black boxes we'd all go to. But I would just pour my heart and soul into it, trying to learn it. And I just loved it. I met my improv and comedy family through that. Met Sam in the directing program at Second City. I just love it, and it's given back so much. It's informed the writing in such a different way. Like I love writing at my desk and all that, but, discoveries you can bring in the moment, like for some of the musical plays that I wrote, I had a full script that I brought to the cast, but then we also used Second City's process of re-improvisation to tweak it and change it and write, and I don't know, it's just a great way to write. It's a great way to create ensemble work too,
It sounds like when each time you discover a different art form, you would just dive into it.
Yeah. Kind of rabbit over it. Yeah. I really poured everything into that. I was cleaning out the garage and found some drawings the other day. I was like, "Oh man, who did these?" Because sometimes I collect stuff, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's me." Some figure drawings, because the figure drawings is like, oh, that was just so hard the human figure, man. Then forget about getting to the point where you can exaggerate it. So yeah, I would do like really point my heart and soul into these things. And what I felt at the time was like heartbreak. Each time I didn't get to where I wanted to get to in those different art forms, I was like, this is sad. And I'm a terrible person who has never be good at anything. So I would switch to something else to try to distract me almost, and to kind of, boost my ego in a way and rebuild myself. And then what you find with things like improv or like sketch is that, in comedy, you got to use everything you've ever learned. Yeah. So it was all informing. So it was like, oh, that was just training ground for this. I need to be able to pull from that and use it in a way that others maybe can't or uniquely me. And I don't know, but it just really feels like it changed me studying sketch and improv.
Sometimes I've wondered if we're too limiting. Like I talk to people because I was an actor, then director, stage, and then stand-up comedy was sort of one of those, passing things I always wanted to try. Mm-hmm. And then I kind of ended up doing it more out of convenience because I had a kid and I couldn't go do plays anymore. Yeah. But I could do these little plays, sort of, and I fell in love with it. But I was always also I think of myself as a writer more because that does perform, because I've been writing. I mean, I found some stories that I wrote in high school that I was like, there's a nugget of something good.
Right?
It's horrible, but it's like,
I tried stand-up for like a short period of time. The first thing I discovered about stand-up was that, you got to write every day.
Yeah.
I was like, no, thanks. And now I write every day, which is crazy. But it was like, if you got to joke right every day, which is very difficult. Because you got to polish that. It's a call and response with comedy. You need to bounce it off of someone. You need to try your material. And those rooms, I mean, it's just a bunch of comedians waiting for their time. That was just heartbreaking to me. It's like, I'll improv. I could just turn it over to this other person. Now it's my turn to shine. Now we get to be this, I get to be anything, which I thought was just so freeing. Whether it's stand-up, it felt like it was a lot of work. And then the audience comes with folded arms, almost like, make me laugh. I know you've been working on this. Whereas improv, you could fall down and say the wrong shit and you fumble something, whatever, don't get it right, call somebody the wrong name, and they're still laughing. They're like, oh, look at him try. Yeah. So I needed like a participation trophy. Yeah, I'm like one of them kids where I just want to play, Well,
I like how you said they informed each other, because I think I've started directing short films here, and there's part of me that's oddly, when I was going to go to college originally, I was going to go to make films. Like I thought as an editor, even though I don't think I really knew what an editor did, but I thought that's what I liked doing. I would like to do that. I would like to edit. Yeah. I think, honestly, I don't think I felt like good enough to be a director. I think it was a self-confidence issue, but I was like, I can help the director make that stuff. But I do feel now that every art that I've worked with has made me better for the next one. Like as I started stand-up, I was like, everything I did in theater is making me stronger. I feel like a stronger stand-up.
Better stage presence than other people, automatically from having been done theater. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then films, I'm like, without stand-up, I wouldn't have been able to do this, because now I can fake the confidence that I need. I don't know. Yeah. I'm like, okay. Yeah. Or just how you carry yourself because of stand-up makes it a lot easier. But
the confidence it takes to do what you guys do with stand-up that's what sets you apart, I think. Not, beyond the joke writing, obviously, and the skill it takes for that, and creating these comedic personas, but the confidence to get up there, good, bad, whatever the set, and then take, present this persona to the world unapologetically is amazing. It's like its own little, TV show or a little movie each time, because even if you follow a comedian who's got a similar set or working on the same set or whatever, it's still different every time.
Yeah,
it's similar to him. Right.
Well, and it's what I like about it is there's a theater aspect that I like that I know a lot of stand-ups will totally hate what I'm saying here. Absolutely hate it. But I've always thought of acting as in a script as a scripted improv. Everything between the lines is what's new, and right
way to look at it. Oh my gosh.
And so then as I'm doing the stand-up, I'm like, well, this is a scripted improv too, because there's going to be some changes. When I first did stand-up, I was very rigid in my monologue, and if somebody said something, I was totally thrown off. Like I can't. They just threw my monologue off. What's going on? But now, like, I get like it can change, and there's this.
You welcome it now. Now you want it. You want it because it keeps it alive.
Oh, now for you. Now, Now, you know what it is? Now it's like I just got a starter yeast for sourdough bread.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to throw bread into it, like everyone, for it to eat, to stay alive, or it'll die. And I feel like that's what my stand-up is now. Like I've got a starter yeast, but I don't even like I was like, I want new jokes. I'm like, I get most interested when someone actually something happens unexpected and I get to deal with it in the moment, which is way more improv, right? You know, it's crazy there. But you make me feel, you're actually making me feel better about like, oh, there's somebody succeeding that's switched gears. Man. Like I always feel like people have to, all the stand-ups that I admire.
Head above water, you know what I mean? It's just like, it literally feels like life or death, you know?
That's crazy. And so now, like, so how long you started writing? How long did it take to become an Emmy award-winning writer? Overnight success?
Yeah, that's my buddy of mine told me, he said the biggest lie in Hollywood is self-made, right? It's not necessarily related to overnight success, but and I was like, what do you mean by that? He was like, everybody has help. Everybody's got a team. Everybody's has someone who helped them out or gave them a reference or did something for them. You don't literally do it alone. And that was so true. And I was like, yeah, it feels like it was just friends who are respecting me and the work that I do would offer me opportunities. And I remember one of my friends, Jamie Moyer, when she first came to town from Detroit, I remember her saying, I'm going to do anything anybody asks me to do, because she wanted to like be on the scene. She wasn't on the LA scene yet. Is the friggin' scene now, if you ask me. She's so funny. But you know what I mean? She was like, asked me to be in your little shitty video, your little shitty show, whatever it is, I'm going to do it. And I was like, that's smart. So I was leaving when Jamie first came to LA. I was leaving to go work for Second City on a cruise ship, do a little touring there. So when I came back from those tours, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to take on that same thing because I need to reacclimate myself with the community anyway, being away. So I was just like, doing anything anyone asked me to do, and that it was like the spirit of saying yes that led to so many opportunities. People just like start writing things for me. I remember once doing one of the Rob Riggle does these. I don't know if he still does it. I don't think probably had our last season since he's moved on. But he did these things for Fox Sports, NFL Sports, called Riggle's Picks, where he'd do little sketches where he'd and then make his pick for the week of wins and losses before the regular host did. And then he got to a point where he would stop using as many background players and start using sketch players. So I was one of the sketch players he used over and over again for different sketches with Riggle. And then one day I remember one of the writer who brought me on and Rob were shooting the shit or whatever. And I'm saying, what am I playing today? And they gave me the script. I'm looking at the script and they said, you're going to be playing a doctor. I was like, cool. So look at the script and it said Dr. Dwayne. And I was like, oh my God, they wrote that for me, right? They probably just need some little shitty role. They'd be like, who can do this? Yeah, Dwayne can do it. You know, but that's like years and years of keeping your head down, doing anything and everything. They asked me to do, I would like cry on camera, play this wacky character, wear this funny costume, always funny, always on time, you know, never trying to outshine the celebrities that they had you playing with, that kind of thing. You know, what you're there for. Seriously, like it's their party, man. I'm just coming here to support the joke. And it turned into little things like, you know, Rob coming in and be like, oh, the way, you know, shooting the shit with me while one of the shoots I'm just playing an extra, not even having a speaking role, but he's coming and shooting the shit with me and all the other extras going, you know Rob? I was like, no, I don't know Rob, but I know him enough on these sets we recognize, and he's, you know, give me a pound. You know? So yeah, man, just keep doing it. And people kept, you know, throwing out different opportunities, different favors. So, you know, the Emmy, the show came from my buddy Neil Gargiulo. He was in the, you know, super improv group, Dr. God, that had IO West RIP fame and beyond. They had movies, and more movies are coming out. They had deals where Neil had, you know, just the way his brain works is just insane. He's such a creator. He had so many things going on where he, you know, we were on a team together at what was the Nerdist and turned into the Ruby. And we hung out one night and just like totally clicked and bonded. It was like one of those, we call them Neil nights. If you've hung out with Neil, you know what they are. It's just like a night of improv, food, drink. He's like the mayor of the Birds. You know, if you go to Birds next to UCB, knows everyone. It's like a fun time. That's, you know, you got to see the sunrise. And so Neil, we hung out one night. He found out about me and the work that I do, and, you know, with the musical comedies. And he had this idea he'd been kicking around for a while. And so he hit me up one day and he was like, hey, I saw this thing that's Funny or Die. I'm going to pitch them for you to come on and produce and write with me. I was like, yeah, okay, bro. Sure. Sounds great. So he did. And we were meeting about it. And I was like, you know, it would be great for this. It's my buddy Wayne. He was like, yeah, your buddy Wayne, whatever. And he's kept, you know, we kept working on this thing or whatever. He's like, wait, are you talking about Wayne Brady? And I was like, yeah, I was his stand-in on Who's Line for like 5 years. And he keeps talking about we should work on something. He's just like a really supportive dude. If I hit him up about this, maybe it seems like something he'd be interested in. And we hit him. I pitched Wayne on it. And like 5 minutes later, he was like, I'm in. And Wayne was such a big help with the writing. Like, because we met with Wayne once to go over some of the writing, and he was like telling us like straight up being honest about what he didn't like about like the hook and, you know, how this could be better structured. He shared a personal story of it from his own life about how the material, you know, affected him and you know, I don't want to share his story, but you know, I mean, it was just great. It was a great launching pad, and we used, and I'm shamelessly saying used Wayne's song once we got his song recorded to help us get the other celebrities on board with doing it. Right. So I brought on Wayne. Neil had through a friend of a friend met Leah, knew Leah Thompson, and brought Leah on to sing a song. And then Funny or Die, the relationship they had with Jason Alexander, brought him on for our episode about anti-Semitism. It's really great. So and that led to, I don't know how we got the freaking Emmy. I don't know. I don't know who submits these and how these things work, but I was just happy to be, the show got nominated. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? It got 2 nominations. So then when we got, you know, the Emmy, it was like, we were on a Zoom all together. And, you know, this guy, Greg Jenkins, who did the music, his wife, Beth, did some writing. Our buddy, Rob, who was also on a team with us at Nerdist that turned into Ruby. Rob did all the editing on it. We all were like, put our heart and soul into this. We didn't make a lot of money on this one. We were just like, no, this is just like a good cause. All these are, you know, songs that we care about and things that we care about and social injustices that we feel like we're perpetuating in a way that we can showcase in a funny way. We had something to say, and I don't know, it just felt like one of those things that just all worked out at every level. It was just really great. And Neil was telling me this stuff from like the very first meeting. He was like, we're going to do this with it. We're going to get celebrities on. I was like, bro, it was like laughable to me. I was like, sure, bro, because I've, you know, been part of so many different little projects along the way. People want you for their web series or this other short film they're doing. Like I said, I didn't say no to anything. So I've been part of these things for friends in the community of different types of you know, budget levels, and it just felt like because it was such a good cause and we all put our all into it, that it didn't matter what I was making on it. You know, I was like, no, I'm just meeting some cool people, you know, and doing some good work.
I was thinking about the money while you were talking about all. I'm like, how do you do it with the money? Like, but it's because I know not every little gig is going to pay when they're asking for it, right?
Literally, Wayne Brady did me a favor. Like, we did not pay Wayne Brady his number fee.
How much? Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, he's hooking us the fuck up. I'm sorry for cursing on your podcast.
No, we do.
But you know what I mean? Like, he hooked us up by, I mean, not only did he help write that song, his performance, man, when we were in the booth, and I was like, this cat is God. I was like, yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'd seen him, you know, being his stand-in, you know, you're just sitting around, you know, doing the improv games when first team isn't there. So when, you know, they have the celebrity run through, they want them truly to be surprised. So they're not going to have them run through with a guest celebrity. So stand-ins would do that, I think, or whatever. So I've seen Wayne improvise, like, on the spot, the stuff that you guys, like, nobody has seen. And this, I already knew the guy was amazing. I mean, he's the song styles he can do, the improv, I mean, what I'm talking about, world class. So I already knew that going into it, but still it blew me away with his singing and his choices and the writing. And it was just like, man, this cat, yeah. It was really great.
It's really nice to hear a story like that, where to know that there's somebody who's willing to give a chance to someone else, to like this leg up that's going to help you.
I was just like trying to keep my head down on Who's Line, like not bother anybody. He's the one who was be like, hey man, what's going on with you? What are you doing? Oh, you do improv? Oh, where at? You know, he was the one, like, you know, reaching out and giving me his number and saying, you know, we should work together, that kind of thing. I didn't ask this man. He's really gracious that way. And, you know, it is rare. He's awesome that way.
That's so cool.
It's comforting to hear. Hey, this is flown by.
It's also good too to know that like somebody you're a fan of that you think is amazing is as amazing and even more amazing than you thought.
And there could be thousands of those stories for all I know. I just know that every experience I've had with him has just been great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This is flown by. As we come to the end here. So we have 7 questions that I like to ask guests the first time that they're on.
So, let's do this. Yeah.
Huh? That's it. Well, it's simple. Just the first thing that comes to your mind with these, you know, no wrong answer. What are you most nerdy about?
It changes. You know, when I was a kid, I was really nerdy about Spider-Man, and then everybody became a fucking Spider-Man fan. Yeah. Then it used to be like animation, and then like people love animation because you just like really love anime, but it's such a thing now that it just like makes me ill. What's my latest nerdy thing? What do I don't know what I'm geeking out over. Oh, reading scripts. I really love reading the screenplay and talking crap, like not even seeing the movie. Going when somebody will bring up, "Did you see this movie?" I'm like, "No, but I read the screenplay. It was really good." It's so dumb. It's so dumb. So dumb.
It's pretty awesome.
Like what was that movie? Well, the latest one was like, "Can You Ever Forgive Me?" The Melissa McCarthy movie. I never saw the movie, but I love the screenplay. And someone recently said they saw it, and I was like, I don't know if it probably is not as good as the screenplay, but it's still dumb and pretentious. But whatever. That's my latest nerd thing.
That's awesome. What's something that you love to eat?
Man, you know, comfort food, mac and cheese. That's something I can't eat all the time or choose to eat all the time, but something I love to eat, cake. So let's just get in there, man.
What
Cake
kind of
is
cake?
great. I recently had from a place called Bonnie B's. It's a barbecue place here in Pasadena. Recently had over the holiday, 4th of July holiday. What was it called? It was a banana strawberry cake or strawberry banana cake, but it had like a lemon kind of icing on it, and they called it icing because it wasn't like frosted where it's this big thick in between. It was just like kind of a glaze over it, and it was like one of them, and it was like the moist. I was like, this cake. Oh, I mean, like tears coming to my eyes thinking about that cake. It was so damn good.
Your love for it transcends because Silas and I are both over here melting like, I want to eat that.
Oh,
That cake sounds amazing.
Yeah. So that.
What's something that you love to drink?
Love to drink something fizzy. I really love carbonated water.
What brand?
Polar? Are you a Polar?
Lots of brands. I guess my favorite brand is Pellegrino, but you know I ain't been buying a bunch of Pellegrinos. I ain't rolling like that. But you know, yeah, cheap ones. I'll get like some Kirkland brand from Costco. I don't care. I just like the bubbles.
What kind of music do you love?
I guess it would be like hip hop, R&B. This is what I love the most. You know, I find myself when you writing. I don't necessarily write to it a lot, I guess. I was going to say writing, but no. When, you know, to find comfort, I would go to hip hop and R&B. So, yeah. Like I was just listening to that. I guess they qualify the Gorillaz yesterday, and I was like, I fucking love the Gorillaz. You know. Anyway, hip hop group, right? Animation too. Yeah. Huh? Okay. We got it all in there. Yeah.
What do you love to create?
Worlds, you know, like a world that feels familiar but new to people, you know, just like something be like, oh, it's like almost like a song or something. You'd be like, that sounds familiar, but it's totally new. So just like that's what I love about improv is like you're God in a way where no one can tell you you're wrong. The audience is not gonna be like, you know, it's not like stand up that way. We don't get hecklers. So I get to create, you know, and no one's going to tell me I'm wrong. So it's a bit of directing without directing because I'm not trying to direct. You're just trying to be. But when you look back at it, you'd be like, oh, that was wild and awesome to explore because you get to do all these things, you know. So just like create all this world. Like writing does the same thing. You know, you write a pilot, you're like, well, I don't want it to feel like intro to the characters on the first, you know, episode kind of thing. So you try to think about the world in such a way where you've written like the 3rd or 4th episode as your pilot. That's the pilot episode that you write. So, you know, conveying something that's an idea from your brain to maybe your arm, then because I like to write longhand first, and it's got to graduate to the keyboard because there's so much editing that happens when you use a keyboard. That all those different transformations of building this story is awesome because it's just like this different world in here, different world when I actually write it down. Oh, right, because you're scratching things off, moving it around, you're circling stuff, your arrows. It's a different one when you type it up. It's a different one when you present it to the actors, or even if it gets to an actor, or maybe it just gets to a reader. It's different if it actually gets made. It's different. It belongs to, you know, the audience, different way, you know, with it, different ownership along the way is just like amazing to me that's why you really need to overshoot your concepts or ideas so that way they can survive all of these different phases of getting it to who you want to get it to. You know, it's all like figure drawing, right? Back to figure drawing. I would overshoot the gesture, right? Like if I'm drawing you, it wouldn't just be you static sitting there on the mic with your mouth open. I would like overshoot because I can see your one shoulder slightly up. I can see your neck going forward. So I would overshoot that, exaggerate it, so that when I build on skeletals and musculature and shading and lighting and all that, it won't lose some life. That's what I feel like it is with these worlds, you know? So I love building or creating like, people that feel real as a way to show us things about ourselves.
Okay.
Do you have is it cursive or
no?
Like, do you have a favorite type of pen or notebook or?
It ain't fancy. I do have a book. I have several books. Like this is it's a little book, and within
the composition ones.
Well, it's not quite that, but it's a.
Oh, it's a little blurry for me.
Oh, sorry, but it's got this replacement one, so I've got it like.
Oh, nice.
Or 12 of these that I've written in, but I also use these to take notes when I'm coaching or teaching and that kind of thing too, because it's all informative. I want to keep all the good stuff in one place. So when you're going back, oh yeah, this, oh yeah, that, it kind of breathes, kind of, you can snort up some of the of comedy, you know what I mean? So yeah, a lot of just write print, right, and just use a regular pen or whatever. But though as a kid, I did use learn calligraphy. So I used to like have my own fonts and stuff. I would do like wedding invitations. So I know how to write. I just don't write. We're like, I look at some of my writing. I'm like, who wrote that? I write this with my toes. This is really legible. But yeah, I just print. I used to write in cursive, I think, when I was younger. I don't remember, but I feel like I did. But the only thing I write in cursive is my signature. But for the most part, I just print. Yeah.
What's a game you'd love to play?
Taboo, or like I used to like to play NBA 2K, but I don't really play video games anymore that much. But yeah, I really like Taboo for some reason. I know that's a weird thing to say you like to play. I like euchre. I like bid whist and spades, dominoes. I really love dominoes. But
Taboo
yeah,
is fun.
It's a fun game.
Then you get to beat people too.
Yeah, you know what I like the most about Taboo? I like that that when people spout all these different ways of describing something without using those words, just like what comes out in this struggle to, not say these things is because it feels like improv, Yeah. I don't know. I'm stupid. Yeah.
No, I love it. I don't know what my favorite part of it is, but yeah, I love that game too.
Someone like a family, they won't let me play with my little brother because when me and my brother play, before that we gonna get like 8 of them, maybe 9 of them before we turn it over. We go, you know what I mean? Like our rounds is just like one of those, shorthand that you have with people.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. In 100 years, when someone reads your biography, what do you want to be remembered for?
Oh man. As someone who tried to use art to share to use art to start a discourse to hopefully begin some sort of progressive change. I think everything I've done that I can call art, I've tried to put my opinion in there, even if I got to hide it. And that opinion is fair is fair. That's fucked up. What y'all doing? You know what I mean? Like, can I point some fingers? But you got to be so funny or so dramatic that you can hide it. Because if people get a whiff of, that you're on the soapbox, they don't want to hear that shit. Don't tell me what to think. Do? How dare you? I don't need no damn, morals or whatever. I don't need no moral of the story. So I hope I'll be remembered as someone who brought, tried to bring, socially conscious comedy to the forefront. Because I think that comedy is a great way to convey these things. And people think it's disrespectful sometimes, and not that comedy can't be disrespectful, but I think it's a great way to approach difficult subjects. For Afros and Ass Whoopins, yes, we wanted a comedy for the subject matter, but I made it a musical so people who aren't Black will feel our pain, because I feel like nobody feels our pain. But when people sing, they feel their pain.
Yeah.
It's fabulous.
That one is yeah.
It's a fabulous answer. I love that.
Yeah.
Dwayne Colbert, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. This was really great.
Thank
Glad I
you.
got to reconnect with you, Sam. Let's keep it going online. I love it. You're so funny. It's very good meeting you. This is fucking fantastic. Yeah.
Where can we follow you on Instagram? What's your handle?
Instagram is dcolbert01. Dwayne Train. Yeah,
Okay.
dcolbert01. And on Twitter, what the hell is it? Dwayne the Swamp of Racist Cops. You know, you can make your name anything. But the handle is just like Steven, because you know people pronounce my name Colbert sometimes. I don't care. I never correct people, but I pronounce it Colbert. So Colbert, so just like Steven. Been at just like Steven.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
And keep it black and a half.
I will keep it black and a half. You just do the same. Take care.
Live long and prosper and prosper and prosper and prosper and prosper.